What's going on, guys? So we're getting close to the mid-wave point. We're around the corner, and for those of you that don't know, with the recording of this video, I just recently ordered 8 fragrances from FragranceNet. I have my largest haul of the year coming in. So before that comes in, I felt like it would be a good time to discuss the 10, and it actually ended up being 11 because I just could not get rid of one of between the two. Anyways, it ended up being 11 of my favorite additions to my collection so far this year. I've had the pleasure of getting my nose on a lot of really good stuff thus far this year. Stuff I've been hunting down for a while, stuff I really wanted to get once they got announced, and a few surprise additions that I did not realize were going to be as good as they actually are. And I want to cover them with you real quick. So stay tuned. I had to start this video with my most recent pickup that I'm overwhelmingly happy with. So much so that when I come across another bottle, I'm going to get another bottle and just have it in case I need it down the line. We're talking about Missoni Wave. I'm loving this stuff. The night I got it, I wore it that night out the shower. I wore it to the gym the next morning. I wore it as my scent of the day. I wore it out the shower again that night. This stuff is really freaking good. I mean really freaking good. Allure Homme Sport meets Versace Pour Homme. It's for $31.99. I mean, this is cheaper with FragranceNet. I checked on FragranceNet. Even after the 37% off coupon code, the 100 ml is $55. So at the recording of this video, check your rack stores. This is a great, super safe, enjoyable, compliment-getting style DNA that's just great for the warm weather, but has enough decent performance in it, because I've been getting in that 6 to 7 hour range for the most part, that I think this is signature scent worthy on a budget. This is a great smelling fragrance. Like I said, when I come across another bottle, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for it. I plan on grabbing this because I know this year they started hitting the rack stores a lot more, and I've kind of been having my eyes peeled when I hit Marshalls and Burlington and places like that, TJ Maxx, because I got this at TJ Maxx, to come across this. And I just happened to get lucky a few days ago at the recording of this, and I have been digging the hell out of this. This is definitely one of my favorite additions to my collection so far this year. Missoni Wave. Next is one of the new releases from Kajal Parfumes. Both great new releases. Both get a 7.5 or better in my rating system, but this one gets an 8.5 because Kajal, Faris, just speaks to me a bit more. It's a classic style, gorgeous, and I mean gorgeous lavender with a lot of aromatic green, earthy facets to this, but it's very bright, super fresh. The citruses with the lavender and the greens almost come off a little minty in the opening blast, but that kind of fades pretty quickly. Man, this lavender is good though. Super masculine. This is a beautiful aromatic green is how I would personally classify it. I don't believe that's the actual classification, but based on what I smell the most from the fragrance and what comes off my skin the most, it's very aromatic and green on my skin. Like I said, beautiful fragrance. If you know my taste, you know I love fragrances like that, and especially when it comes to a super high quality lavender, a lavender dominant fragrance. This is really good stuff. I wore this a few days ago. I haven't had this but a week and a half, a week, something like that, and it's just, I've been enjoying the hell out of it so far. Definitely get yourself a sample and try this one. Is it mind-blowing, mass appealing and everybody's gonna like it? No, but it has a refined, classy, masculine style to it that I can definitely appreciate, and I know there's a lot of you out there that appreciate really good quality fragrances of that style, and this is definitely one of them. One of the best additions to my collection thus far is definitely Faris from Kajal Parfumes. No secret if you've been keeping an eye on some of my cheapy videos this year or the individual review that I did on this fragrance, but I'm definitely loving me some Rasasi Hawas. I know I'm late, super late to the party with this one, but I love it. I've been making myself wear other fragrances to kind of take a break from it, because when I first got it, I was wearing the hell out of it. I was. It's basically spicy Invictus. It's beautiful. I know a lot of people like to compare it to 2016 Aqua. I think it's closer to the original Invictus, honestly, because it's much sweeter than Aqua, but kind of somewhere in between with additional spice. Cardamom, cinnamon, lovely. Mwah. Beautiful stuff. Monster on my skin and performance, too. I go easy on the sprays. 4 to 5 sprays, and lately it's been 4 sprays. I started out doing 5, and it screams off of my skin. A newer bottle, manufactured February 2022, so it's a newer style bottle, and I'm really, really digging this one. Like I said, I know I'm years late to the party. People have been enjoying this for a long time. A ton of you that are watching this video right now have been on me for years now. You need to get it. I know you're going to like it. You need to get Hawas, and all of you were right, because it's definitely one of the best additions and one of my favorite additions to my collection this year, for sure. Probably my absolute most favorite addition, to be honest with you. Rasasi Hawas. This is another recent pickup that very much surprised me. Very chilled, relaxing type of fragrance that when you see the note breakdown, you may not necessarily think beach vibes, but when you smell Rirana Vanilla Tea, it's definitely got some beach vibes going. It's got laying on a hammock type of beach vibes, for me anyways. It's a beautiful fragrance. The tea that's used here is kind of like a iced tea type of smell, more so than an herbal leafy type of tea, or a tea bag type of smell, for example. It doesn't smell like black tea or Earl Grey or anything like that. It's very fresh. The honeysuckle here adds a nice sweet floral tone. It's a little powdery. It's very just relaxing and soothing. It's upbeat at first, but it quickly mellows the scent profile down and kind of mellows your mood, but not in a bad way. Like, it's kind of just laid back, you know what I mean? It's really good stuff. Another one worth a sample. Worth a sample. I was not anticipating to like this one as much as I actually did, and was kind of surprised by how it smelled the first time I sprayed it. And I've been doing several days worth of testing in the past week on it, did some full wearings, and actually did a full review on this one a few days ago within the recording of this video. And another one, sample worthy for sure. Is it a must-have? I don't deem it a must-have by any means, but it's one of those things that if you like the relaxing, chill vibe type of fragrances that has that, still that level of beach vacation, summer freshness, this is different. Good different. You might want to check this one out. Definitely one of the best additions this year to my collection. Rirana Parfum. It's vanilla tea. The main fragrance I've been searching the rack stores for, besides Missoni Wave, this more so, and I'm so glad I have it. It's honestly my favorite version of Cool Water. We're talking about Cool Water Parfum. Does not smell that much like Cool Water. Isn't quite the beast that Cool Water Intense is, but it's also not the bubblegum blue that Cool Water Intense is. This is not as playful of a fragrance. This is more of an everyday wear signature scent fragrance that can dress up and dress down. Day or night, anytime. Performance to go year round. There's enough freshness, and it's not too heavy of a fragrance to wear in the summer, but it's got enough going on, enough density, and enough depth in the scent profile to work in the cooler months as well. I'm really digging this one. This is another one that when I run across a bottle at Marshall's again, I'm going to get a backup, because it's a 50 ml that you can find, and they're $25 at the rack stores. They're more expensive than that online. They're 30 some odd dollars from FragranceNet right now. No, 45, I want to say 44 after the 37% off code. Not a terrible price, but just know you can get it for 25 if you find them at the rack stores. Obviously, that's your best route. So when I come across another one, I'd love to have 100 ml of this, because I see myself wanting to go back to this one more and more. I even just pass by, I leave it on my rotation table and just sniff out the atomizer, because I really enjoy the aroma. Lemon pink pepper opening, this rather smoky, earthy, spicy type of woody vetiver pink pepper smell on the dry down. Not too earthy, not too smoky, but it is there. That's a depth in the character of the scent profile that I was talking about that really makes this stuff versatile and have a little bit more of a serious and elegant appeal without being a serious fragrance. I'm telling you, definitely. So glad to have finally found this bottle and add it to my collection. Davidoff Cool Water Parfum. Next, this was the missing link from the house. This is the one thing of all the amazing fragrances that are available from Zaharoff that George Zaharoff did not have, and that was a true light, airy, fresh fragrance. Everything else was dense or floral or resinous or spicy or smoky or dense woods, There's a lot of body and density to his fragrance lineup until Signature Citrine came along. This is light, fresh, airy citrus, but still has some of that backbone, the myrrh incense, amber, and a little bit of oud, but kind of has a warm wood smell. It doesn't really smell like oud at all at any point, but the DNA for Signature Pour Homme. It's actually based off of Signature Noire, honestly. And it's got this beautiful sweet orange clementine top note. That's the citrusy smell that you're going to get. It's a beautiful mandarin orange, and clementine can kind of come off a little limey, like a lime smell sometimes. So it's kind of like a lime orange. Light sweetness. There's plum in here, but I don't really get any plum sweetness till later on. It kind of changes from the orange and lime smell to a little bit of a plum smell, but not necessarily jumping out saying, ooh, this is plum. But it's light and airy. This is one that begs you to wear it outside. It begs you to have activity because it needs heat. It wants heat, and it projects like crazy. The trail tends to strengthen quite heavily when this stuff starts rolling off your skin, when you're sweating, when your body heats up. It's built for warm spring and hot summer. And like I said, it was the missing link to the Zaharoff house as a whole. There was nothing like this from any of the selections, Rosé, Tabac, Royale Noir, X, Triple X, the original Signature Pour Homme. None of that came even close to the level of freshness that this had. Finally, a true freshie in the house. Definitely worth a sample. You can always click the link below, save yourself 10% and get a sample. There are 2 ml samples available so you can try this. Zaharoff Signature Citrine. This one I never thought would be something I would get excited about, and never thought I would want and need to add it to my collection. So I did a video on 3 decants of all 3 Lalique Encre Noire fragrances. They were sent to me by a buddy that watches the channel all the time. Shout out to you, Chris. And I ended up really liking Encre Noire Sport. Another viewer, a different viewer, shout out to you, Mr. Hanson Kim, said, hey, look, I don't like Encre Noire Sport. I don't wear my bottle. I'd love to send it to you. And this is one of those rare occasions I'll accept something from a viewer, because this needed to come into my collection. If it's just going to collect dust and waste space, and you'd rather pay it forward, hey, I'll put it to good use, because I am digging the hell out of this. More than I ever thought I would. It's got this beautiful aromatic watery freshness, beautiful juicy bergamot at the top. And the vetiver here is a little earthy, but it's not too earthy. It's mostly very fresh with a touch of earthy tone in the background that never kind of takes over the fragrance. That's the kind of vetivers I like. I don't mind a little bit of earthiness. I don't mind a little bit of smokiness from a vetiver. I just don't like it when it's in abundance. That's when it kind of gets funky on my skin most of the time, no matter how high quality the vetiver is. And this one just really works for me. I think this is one of the most versatile warmer weather fragrances you can rock, because it has that freshness, that bright watery appeal to where it's a casual t-shirt fragrance, but that slight earthy tone of the vetiver gives it enough depth in the scent, kind of like what we were talking about with the way the vetiver works in Cool Water Parfum, to kind of dress up a little bit better. This is another signature scent worthy fragrance that will shine more so in the warmer weather, and I'm digging it. Another one, 6, 7, 8 hour range of life on my skin, not a heavy projector, kind of falls into the sweet spot across the board of what I would like to wear to work. This is a really good fragrance. I'm super happy, surprisingly super happy to have added this to my collection. I actually really like this. It's rare that I love a vetiver fragrance, but Lalique Encre Noire Sport, I gotta say I love this stuff. So the next few fragrances, the rest of this video, blew me away. They all blew me away. They're all wow factors. It's not about versatility. It's not about certain things that I love that they do so well. These just wowed me the first time I smelled them, and continue to every time I spray them, starting with Narcotica Dulce Diablo, the newest release. This is such a beautiful boozy gourmand. I was not expecting it to be a gourmand. It's full of this apricot smell. There's 2 different types of apricot. There's 2 different types of alcohol. There's honey. There's chocolate. There's all these gourmand notes going. It's very sweet, but it doesn't become sickeningly sweet. God, this stuff is so good every time I smell it. I fill my room with this, please. This is so good, guys. And look, I get it. It's expensive. It's a $280 bottle. Sample. Get the experience. See if it's worth you chalking up that kind of money for it. I think it's absolutely worth it. This is one that at the very least you need to try. So you can rule it in, rule it out. If you like gourmands, it's an experience to have. This was perfumed by Claude Deer. It's a 28% concentration, if I remember correctly. So it's very high oil concentration. The projection's not crazy. It's super pronounced in the first 2 hours. But where it shines here is your sillage is strong. Your scent bubble is strong. The trail is dense. This can captivate. This can grab. I have a limited experience with this one, but the experience I have has been overwhelmingly positive by those around me. I actually wore this on an out-of-town trip recently, and it was a topic of conversation. Like I said, check the samples. You can get 2 ml samples, you can get 8 or 9 ml decants, or you can get a bottle, and you can save yourself 10%. Always check that link tree down in the description for discounts on fragrances and stuff, and I have a 10% off on this and everything that Door Prestige has to offer, but this is the main one, even more so over the original Narcotica, which is a gorgeous fragrance in its own right. This one blew me the frick away. So I just don't want to drop the F-bomb in this video, so excuse my language, but it blew me away. It's floating in the air. I'm loving every second of this. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the wow on my face and my expression and my excitement in talking about it should tell you enough of how I feel about this so we can move on to the next fragrance. But Narcotica Dulce Diablo, so glad I have this. Unfortunately, we're moving into warm weather, so I'm going to have to shelve it. Speaking of fragrances that wowed me, and I mean I couldn't believe what I was smelling, that I'm going to have to shelve because it's terrible for the warm weather, I think. But Flower City Fragrance Bourbon Vanilla. I still can't believe how when you spray this rum-dominant fragrance, it smells like vanilla ice cream and a dry wooden barrel full of aged rum. That's how the opening smells to me on this fragrance. It's mind-boggling. There it is. It's this specific tonka bean oil that John uses, and I am floored every time I smell this. This is so good. It's kind of mixing with Dulce Diablo in the air a little bit, making a unique blend. Honestly, this stuff is so good. Another one worth a sample. It's not a complex note breakdown, but it does have a dry wood smell with this rich, warm, aged bourbon. And that vanilla ice cream accord that I get in the opening blast does calm down. It becomes more of a creamy vanilla smell. But at the top, it smells like, as weird as it is, something warm, a wooden barrel full of aged rum, and something cold in vanilla ice cream. Like I said, it's mind-boggling to me how he was able to pull this off. It's remarkable. And another one that's worth a sample. It's an olfactive experience that I believe everybody should have. If any of that sounds good to you, it's worth a sample for sure. I'm so glad to add this to my collection. I didn't even know I needed this fragrance. You know? It's wow. It's unfortunate that we're moving into hot weather because this is, just like with Dulce Diablo, this is not a hot weather fragrance. Sitting around the house, going to dinner, may get the occasional spray, but for daily use, definitely not good for hot weather. But I'll tell you what, once fall rolls back around, you'll be seeing this in my rotations. So glad to have this. Bourbon Vanilla from Flower City Fragrance. Another one that wowed me for just how crazy minty this fragrance is. It's got some oak moss providing some spice. I believe there's a little bit of myrrh resin providing the darkness, if I remember correctly, in the note breakdown. But we're talking about Wonderland from Happyland Studio. This is my favorite release EJ's put out in a little while, and he's been putting out some really good fragrances. There's green notes in here with this mint note, and I think the green notes, the way he blended it, just intensify the mint. It's got a mint leaf smell. This is freaking beautiful. This is classy. This is a little dark, but still has a ton of freshness at the same time. Like there's a dark undertone with bright minty freshness. Super crazy green fragrance. The green color of the label is very, very fitting. This is a little strangely mysterious for being a green fragrance. It doesn't smell like everything else, but it wowed me from the first spray. It's just so different. It wears kind of heavy for being as fresh as it is, too. I don't know if it's the blend or the oil concentration, because I believe it's like 30%. Around 30% is what EJ uses. And we're going to spray that again. That's just such a good fragrance, man. Bright mint leaf, fresh cut grass. Oh, it's so good. And a little bit of spice to go with it. I'm digging this stuff. There's another one, just like with the rest of them. Sample it, try it, see what you think about it. Just because they wow me, of course, there's no guarantee they're going to wow you, but that's where sampling comes in. You can rule it in, rule it out. It may blow your mind. It may be a giant pass for you. If you don't sample it, you don't try it for yourself on your skin, who knows? Could be missing out, or you could be glad you only bought a sample. So definitely one of the cases. If you don't like green, you won't like this because it's super duper green. But it's not mind-boggling like the last one. For this, it just wowed me. Wow was the best word for it, because I wasn't anticipating that level of minty green freshness. Like, I mean, it's intensely minty green. So if you like mint, then it's a must-try for sure. Glad to have Happyland Wonderland. Last but not least, this is number 11. This is the most redundant fragrance to another that I have. Obviously, its namesake is what it's most redundant to, but this is the fragrance I was the most excited to get this year of the newer releases. And I was finally able to get my hands on a bottle, and I am so happy with the way Intense Cedrat Boise came out. This is basically, obviously the name's fitting, it's a much more intense smell of Cedrat Boise, but here you get a lot more of this buttery suede smell. It's a little touch animalic. I'm guessing that's that Cambodian oud that gives it that animalic touch in the background. It's a little musky. It's still got that fruity freshness, but the blackcurrant here provides a bit more of a tart, fruity smell up top than we had in the previous one. It's just so good. And look, it's so strong that it's easy to go anosmic to this one quick. I've had people tell me in the comments that even on 8 sprays, it's gone in 30 minutes on my skin. No, it's not, pimpin'. It's not. It's a 45% oil concentration. The oil sheen hasn't even faded in 30 minutes. Your olfactory is fatiguing. Your sense of smell is wearing out quickly. It happens to me every time I wear it. And then hours into it, hours later, whenever the intensity of the strength of the scent calms down enough, my nose finally gets a break, and I get strong whiffs of it 6, 7, 8 hours into the life. This stuff is much more beastly than some people in my comment section have been giving it credit for. I promise you, if you're the gentleman I'm talking about, if you see this, I'm not hating on you, pimpin'. I'm just saying, you're going nose blind. There's no way this is gone in 30 minutes because, like I said, the oil sheen isn't even gone in 30 minutes. It's 45% oil concentration. My experience is it's just too strong early on. So be wary if you're like me and you like to spray your bare chest. Be wary of doing that when you spray this one. This is an around the neck, behind you type of fragrance if you don't want to have some olfactory fatigue, you don't want to go nose blind to it, and you want to smell yourself, not just others around you. Because trust me, others around you are going to smell it. It doesn't project as heavily as the original. The original's more airy and light. Yeah, I mean, it's like half the oil concentration. But the dense cloud that's just surrounding you from this thick oil is strong. I'm telling you, I love this stuff. I'm so glad to have it. It lived up to the hype that I personally placed on it because I had super high expectations for this fragrance. Do you need it if you have the original? Absolutely not. But if you love the original and want to try a different version, a more intensified version, like I said, appropriately named, you might want to get a sample and try this one out because I'm super happy to have added this to my collection. Well, that is the 11, ended up being 11 fragrances that I'm most happy to have added to my collection so far at the recording of this through right past mid-May of 2022. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What are some of your favorite pickups so far this year? I'd love to see what you guys have been grabbing and just been enjoying the hell out of. What's been just some great additions to your collection, whether big or small, cheapy or high-end luxury. It don't matter. I want to read it. What have you guys been enjoying so far this year? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the 11 I'm excited that I added, you give them a spray now, I'm real confident you'll thank me later. They're all freaking fantastic. Have a good one, guys.